What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. Okay, well, it is a pretty red day across the markets. I'm sure you have seen this already. So, yeah, it's a it's a tough thing to see. SPS is down close to 8 cents in some markets or some exchanges. It is actually below the 8-cent range. And DEC is down to 0.0011, or at least 0.00114 here, according to Splinter Cards. Although I would make the argument that Hive Engine is pretty close, 0.00115. So we are just 15% over the intended peg, and this is as close as we've been in a very long time. So what I wanted to get into in this video is we're so close to the peg already, got here much faster, or maybe not faster is the word, much sooner than I thought that we would. And to me, that is primarily due to the macroeconomic factors, right? So Bitcoin obviously hitting down to the 30Ks today is definitely driving the market down. But it's not just Bitcoin, right? Like the stock market overall is down in the US and I'm sure around the world. There's global conflict and other inflationary macroeconomic issues. So all of this stuff is coming to a head. And the truth is, in my opinion, that I don't see it stopping. And I'm not trying to be like overly fuddy here. Definitely not fuddy just for the sake of Splinterlands. Like I'm just thinking about this from like, where does the world go from here? Because it doesn't seem like the pain is done yet. We haven't hit a point of like maximum capitulation. So taking this back now to Splinterlands, and specifically SPS and DEC, and actually just for the purposes of this video, we're going to talk about DEC. We're so close to the peg that this starts to beg the question of, will we hit the peg and, more importantly, go lower than it before the end of the airdrop? So as it currently stands, we have 78 days remaining in the airdrop, and DEC at this point in time is not that much higher. And 78 days, I will say, is a very long time. That's 2.5 months right there. So I can't tell you, and nobody can tell you, what's going to happen with the rest of the world, what's going to happen with the rest of the market. But my thought process is, when it comes to DEC and the peg for DEC, we are nowhere close to having the stabilizing force for DEC to stay at its peg. And when I say stabilizing force, that is the upcoming potential Chaos Legion packs being sold for 4,000 DEC rather than just 4,000 credits. That is something that is slated to come in after the airdrop ends. And at this point in time, yes, the team members have talked about it. We can probably make a very good assumption that it will happen, but it's not confirmed yet. So with that being at least 2.5 to 3 months away, right? Because again, 78 days remaining in the airdrop, I do believe that we will go below the peg before that time, because as the system continues to sell and capitulate, what we are going to see is many folks betting on the fact that DEC will go low, right? It's all a psychological game here, and thinking that, well, why don't I sell now and then buy back in when DEC is below the peg, and there will be opportunities for me to, there'll be opportunities for me to buy the Chaos Legion packs at essentially a discount, right? Because at this point in time, I'm sure many folks, especially those who are feeling nervous, and I don't blame you, right? There's no judgment in any of this. Everybody's got to make their own decisions, their own financial decisions for what's best for them and their families, right? So a lot of people looking at this are going to say, well, I know for sure, right? DEC is going to lose X amount more, right? At this point, we know DEC is going to lose at least 14% more, which is significant. potentially more than that if it goes below the peg. So there is a guaranteed loss upcoming here that you don't really get when you look at a lot of the other coins. Sure, the market is red. We do expect more, at least I expect a lot more pain in the market overall over the next couple of weeks and maybe months. But for DEC, we know that it's coming, right? We also know that there will be stabilizing forces in the future. So the question then becomes, with 78 days remaining, do the numbers make sense, right? And I'm not going to get into the numbers today. I might do that for a separate video. This is more just like looking at a bird's eye view of how the market will play out over the next couple of weeks. Because even when people have the numbers, not everybody makes rational decisions, right? And I think that's something that's very apparent no matter what market you look at. So as and here's the important part, as the opportunity cost starts to diminish, as this number starts to get lower and lower, right? 78 days now, but as we go along, if we get closer and closer to that peg and people start to fear that we will go well below the peg, many people will probably capitulate at that point, which to me just signals that we will probably get below the peg well before the end of the airdrop. Maybe I shouldn't say well before, but definitely before the end of the airdrop. Now, there could be some buying pressure, people that come in and say, well, the APR is too good at this point, or we know that it's going to come in. So we know that there's going to be some kind of stabilizing measures for DEC coming in the future. So there might be strong buy pressure at like 0.0009 or 0.0095, whatever it is, right? If we just go 5 or 10 or maybe 15, 20% below the peg, there might be a lot of buy pressure. A lot of the whales will come in and scoop that up. A lot of the people who are running the numbers will come in and scoop it up. But I just don't see, with where we're at right now, all the fear in the market, I just don't see DEC staying above its peg. Excuse me, staying above its peg for the remainder of the airdrop as the opportunity cost starts to diminish. So with that being said, this isn't a informational video. This is, me. If you know me, I like to just put stuff out there to try and see where the general sentiment is within the community. So my question for you is now, we've had these conversations through live streams, through these comments for the last couple of months. Many people were planning to sell, right? So many people were trying to get ahead of the curve here when DEC was still like, 1.5 or 0.5 above its peg, or 50% above its peg, essentially. A lot of people were saying, well, I'm planning to sell on like day 60, right? 60 days remaining before the end of the airdrop. Well, we're approaching that point in time now. So the losses have already been actualized in many ways, right? Or at least we've been realized in many ways, but there still may be that sentiment of like, well, we're coming to the end. Do people want to start jumping ship? So my question for you is, if you are still holding on to your bag of DEC, what is your plan with it? And if you do plan on selling, when is that going to be the case? Or are you just going to ride this thing out? Now, for myself, I still have a good chunk sitting in liquidity pools, and it's gone down somewhat proportionally because I've held it with, or I've paired it with SPS. And I've said from the beginning that I'm planning to just ride this thing out and see what happens. So I wasn't expecting DEC to be this close to its peg before the end of the airdrop. Now, that's not changing any actions that I'm taking, but it's definitely, like I said, it's something that was not expected. And so therefore, I am starting to reevaluate where things go, and I'll be running the numbers in the next couple of days here. But I wanted to put this out there just to crowdsource where the general sentiment is. So let me know what your thoughts on DEC are, what you think, if you think that I'm right or wrong, in terms of it going below the peg before the end of the airdrop, and why the reasoning would be. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm not looking at it from the right lens or the right perspective, but just curious to get what the general sentiment is out there. For me, nothing's changing at this point in time, except for the fact that I've been just going aping back into SPS rather than putting any more into the liquidity pool. Although as DEC gets lower, those numbers might start to make sense. So that's all I have for you in this video. Again, just wanted to share my thoughts on where things are going, how much time is left, and what we can potentially expect between now and the end of the airdrop. But definitely want to hear your take on it as well. So I will catch you all in the next video, and I will see you around the game. Take care.